Investigators said that King, Brewer, and Berry drove around for much of the evening drinking beer. They went to Newton County, up around the Toledo Bend Dam, looking for a couple of young women they knew. One investigator said they were looking for a girlfriend for Brewer. They were unsuccessful. Bird had been socializing that day as well. Earlier in the afternoon, he had been at a bridal shower for a niece at his parents' house in the east central part of town. Later, he walked on to another gathering, ending up at a party at a friend's house on the other side of US 96, the highway that divides East and West Jasper. A friend who saw him there said he was singing, dancing, laughing, and joking. The party was almost across town from his apartment, but Bird started walking home. He was used to doing that, and besides, in Jasper, it was common to run across someone who would offer him a ride. That someone turned out to be Sean Allen Berry, John William King, and Lawrence Russell Brewer. Before the night was over, prosecutors allege the offer of a ride became a deadly kidnapping.
I'm very hurt, disappointed. I could think if I could do anything that horrible to a person without a cause. I feel angry, but I don't feel any hate. I am angry at them, but I don't hate them.
Are y'all members of the Aryan Brotherhood? Are you part of the Ku Klux Klan?
We will work not only to make sure that the federal laws we have on the books will be triggered so that we can get the kind of designation that is necessary to ensure that there is swift and tough justice.
This death will be a catalyst to eliminate this kind of activity anywhere it is in America.
The town that calls itself the Jewel of the Forest soon found itself internationally branded as the place where an African-American man had been dragged to death. By the time the out-of-town reporters began to show up, 3 white men had been arrested. John William King, Lawrence Russell Brewer Jr., and Sean Allen Berry were safely behind the locked doors of the Aubrey Cole Law Enforcement Center. As the jail's front lawn turned into a circus of television satellite trucks, protest groups, and politicians, platoons of local, state, and federal law officers met inside to try to figure out just what had happened to James Byrd Jr. out on Huff Creek Road and why.
It was a shock because we had got to the point where physical attacks we weren't worried about. The movement had moved to a mental thing. And so when that hit, the whole country was shocked, particularly black folks. Probably the most incredible thing about it is because of the times and the news and the quickness of it. They arrested them 3 almost before they identified who the black man was. And the justice was so swift. Who believed a governor of a state that happened in a few years could run for president, and that was never brought up during the campaign? That's how quick to show you the change of America. And we can trace that back to Emmett Till. And thanks to Emmett Till's mother, because death has always been private. And the more ugly you are in the black community, from death, we didn't want nobody to see you if you had a stroke. And Raina's funeral home begged her not to open the coffin. She said, I might have to take my boy someplace else. I want the world to see what they done to him. Now remember, you had killing is one thing. You have to go all the way back, thousands of years. And the church wasn't happy with killing you. They had to torture you. That's where torture came from. It didn't come from the army. It came from the church. Torture. And so when you looked at the lynchings that existed in America, it wasn't just killing, it was castrating, cut your tongue out, cut your head off. That was the torture part. And so again, when we looked at that part of it, and so when Jet magazine put Emmett Till's picture on the front cover, to this day, we don't have an anti-lynching bill. Lynching went down to part zero because America was embarrassed that the whole world saw what happens here. And so boys put the word out, you know, Hoover, FBI, hey, to the sheriff, we'll just have no more, we'll get you. And so if you look at Gettysburg, how quick they went in and brought everybody in. That just shows you the signs of the time. And that was my biggest thought, was the quickness of it. The surprise was I didn't realize. I knew there could be some white folks angry enough to kill you, but I didn't know it was still into that torture thing.